sessions so far, entering with data entry, generating descriptive statistics, conducting the test of hypothesis through student t-test and ANOVA, then followed by correlation and regression. So in this last session, today we are having on the non-parametric test. Okay, today's session mainly we are focus on the principles of non-parametric test to test the hypothesis using various non-parametric tests. Means mainly these non-parametric tests are parallel to the parametric test and mainly focus on chi-square test and some other test as Mann-Whitney test, Wilcoxon-Seinrein test and Friedman test. And we'll run these tests using the SPSS, these parametric tests, and interpret the findings. So we have already seen that mainly in the testing of hypothesis, we test the hypothesis and it should be measurable. Especially in the parametric test, our focus is on mean like that. We used to compare the mean of the outcome. Like, say for example, when we are trying to find out does job satisfaction among the male and employees is different among female employees. So we used to state in terms of mean job satisfaction. So whereas in a non-parametric test, this is converted in terms of median, like as the data is analyzed using the ordered data. So we used to state there is significant difference in median job satisfaction score among male employees compared to the female. So this is the focus. So our focus shift from mean. Whereas in the arithmetic, in the parametric test, we used to focus on the arithmetic mean. We compare the arithmetic mean of various groups. Whereas in the non-parametric test, we compare using the median. And here also it is advisable to state your directional hypothesis instead of telling null hypothesis. Okay. And as a general procedure, how the test of significance is done, we already seen. Get an idea, formulate the hypothesis, gather the data, find the test statistic, then make a decision and revise your idea. We start with the research. Some of the things are confirmed, some are not. This thing we get the new ideas. So for the new idea, again you start the hypothesis, your research line. So that is why it is called as a circular process of research. So all these steps which were required in the parametric test, the same steps are followed in non-parametric also. So you needs to have a hypothesis. So mainly non-parametric tests are also called as distribution-free tests since they do not assume data follows normal probability distribution. They don't assume that the data follows any of the distribution. Mainly in the parametric test, we have seen that the data follows normal distribution. So such assumption is not followed in non-parametric, especially when the data does not follow your normality assumptions, we go for non-parametric test. So non-parametric methods are analyzed using the rank, like ordered data. And analysis is based on median. And it is appropriate even for small sample. Usually for parametric test, you require a larger sample. In some of the situations, such as the Likert scale, VAS score, Apgar score, they don't follow normal distribution. So there we cannot rely on the parametric tests. And moreover, parametric tests are more complicated to compute and have the greater power like that. So there are certain advantages and disadvantages of non-parametric compared to the parametric. Advantages are that it can be used for small sample. It is useful for ordinal data. It is not susceptible to outliers and it is easy to calculate. Whereas disadvantages are it requires a special statistical table for small samples and parametric tests are more powerful than non-parametric tests. So that is why parametric tests are preferred. So in this case, when we are going for a non-parametric test, before that we could see by changing the transformation of the data whether the data follows normal distribution and we can make use of the parametric test, because parametric tests are more powerful and you can find the power of the studies very easy. Okay, in the non-parametric test mainly for quantitative outcome or for the even if it is ordinal data, categorical data, we compare in terms of median. Our outcome is median length. The same situation comes like we may have comparing one group of the data with a specific value, or we may deal with the two groups. It may come from independent sample or it may come from dependent sample. So we accordingly we use Mann-Whitney U test, Wilcoxon signed rank. If more than two tests are there, Kruskal values tests are there, or Friedman test. That is this one. Or in case of categorical data, we use chi-square test. So these all what we are seeing. These all tests are parallel to parametric testing. What we have seen student t-test and ANOVA. So these are the parallel. So we already seen how to test the data follows normal distribution. You can plot a QQ plot. If all the values are lies on a 45-degree line, we say normal distribution. If they deviate from the 45-degree line, the data does not. The more robust test would be using this one sample Coulomb-Garosi test, where you can find the p-value. If p-value is greater than 0.05, we say data follows normal distribution. Otherwise, so this is a starting point to go for. So in order to test your hypothesis, first verify whether your data follows normal distribution or not. If data is not following normal distribution, then go for non-parametric test instead of parametric. So first test we'll study under this non-parametric test today is a chi-square test. So when we use the chi-square test, there are three chi-square test situation we come across. The first one is chi-square test for goodness of fit. Second one is chi-square test for independence. And third one is chi-square test for homogeneity of variance. This test also we have seen, especially third test for homogeneity of variance. We've seen in the context of student t-test and ANOVA. One of the condition it requires that each group of the data has to follow homogeneity of variance. So when homogeneity of variance we are using, it is in the Levin test. So basically its origin has its chi-square test. So that we will not go into this today's session. Homogeneity. We'll see these first two situations of chi-square test for goodness of fit and chi-square test for independence. Let us take first one chi-square test for goodness of. Mainly this chi-square test of goodness of fit is used whether the data follows any particular pattern or whether data has been uniformly distributed or observed frequency and their expected frequency are similar or they are deviated. So mainly in here, chi-square test for goodness of fit, we make the null hypothesis that the frequencies of the events are uniformly distributed, and alternative hypothesis, the frequencies of the events are not uniformly distributed. Let us take this example of this one, number of aeroplanes in a certain airport. Like daily, suppose we are observing it for 10 days. Like. Okay, and every day we observe this one. So day 1, 22 flights are arriving. Day 2, 36 arrival. Day 3, 52. Day 4, 36. Like this time. So on the day 10, 44. So on an average, 46 flights are coming daily, or average. So, but we want to test the hypothesis here that does the arrival of flight is 46 or so each of this what we observed that daily these are the observed frequencies 22, 36, 52, 36 they are all observed with and expected frequency is 46 means if they all used to follow uniformly that is to sum of all these observations total number of arrivals divided by 10 so it gives 46 otherwise we would have expected that daily 46 flights would have come if uniformly it has to come considering the this 10 days average. So the chi-square is this hypothesis is tested using a test statistic chi-square equal to sum of observed value minus expected value whole square divided by expected. Or y is the observed value and y is the expected. So whatever we are observing this 22, 36, 52 are observed values. If they have to follow uniformly, daily it should be 46 flights should have arrived. So these are all the expected frequencies. So we have to calculate this chi-square value. For each, this is number of arrival y, this is expected frequency yeah. So we have to find y minus e square y. For each value, we have to find. So this chi-square value comes 43.6 and degrees of freedom is n minus 1, 9. Degrees of freedom refers to number of independent options. The table value of chi-square is 16.92. There are tables are available. So you have to refer for a given level of significance for the given degrees of freedom, what is it? When calculated chi-square value is greater than table value, H0 is rejected. So here calculated value is 43.6, calculated table value is 16.92. So therefore calculated value is greater than table value, therefore H0 is reached. Means what was the H0? We have presumed that the frequency of the events with arrival of flight is uniformly distributed. So that data shows that the arrival of frequency of this flight is not uniform. Okay, that is the conclusion. Number of arrivals are not uniformly distributed. So this is how this chi-square test of goodness of fit is used. Mainly we try to find out whether the any of the outcome or the parameters are equally distributed or. So it has 3 steps. First step, state the hypothesis, collect the data, calculate the chi-square value, compare it with the table value, and calculated value is greater than table value, H0 is. Okay, this is the chi-square test for goodness of fit. Now we'll come to chi-square test of independence. This is the most commonly used method. In most of our research, it is quite often used chi-square test for independence. So this chi-square test is used for testing the association between two qualitative variables. So using chi-square test, mainly we test whether two variables, two qualitative variables or categorical variables are associated or not. Means we test the statistical association between two parameters. Let us say, for example, association between gender and preference for a product of a company. Suppose a company brings its product, a new products, it want to know whether it is popular among the male or female. So they want to test the association between, is there any association between gender and preference for a product? So the company launches a new product. So they conduct a survey among male and female in their marketing areas. And how many of the male prefer this product? How many females prefer this one? So you want to know, is there any association between preference for this product and gender? So this is association. When we conduct the study research in health science, they are very popular. Like say, for example, excess cigarette smoking and lung cancer, they are associated. So this sort of cause-effect relations are tested using this one. So we test association between any of the two categorical variable associated. So this chi-square test is usually performed by presenting the given data in a 2x2 contingency table. And this analysis is based on absolute numbers, not on percentage. Remember that. When we carry out a chi-square test, it is based on absolute numbers, not on percentage. And when we carrying out this chi-square test, make sure that the minimum cell value should be 5. When we put it in the contingency table, the frequency should be greater than 5, it should not be less than 5. If in one of the cell, okay, we can apply the correction factor, Yates correction factor. Otherwise, if most of the cells are less than 5 or some values are 0, 1, 2 like that, instead of chi-square test, go for Fisher exact test. That is also available in the SPSS. Okay. Let us take this example. Say, for example, we conducted a survey, health survey about the diabetes. We have conducted this and tested this in urban and rural area. We selected 200 urban persons and 100 rural person. Out of 200 urban persons, 40 are diabetic, and out of 100 rural persons, 10 are diabetic. So we want to see, is there any association between residents and diabetes? So this is our research question. So first we state how this has to be answered. It means mainly our aim is there any association? So how it is answered? So we start with the first stating the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis, we state that there is no association between place of residence and diabetes mellitus. Alternative hypothesis, there is a significant association between place of residence and diabetes mellitus. And set the level of frequency at 0.05. Collect the sample data and calculate the chi-square value, that is sum of observed value minus expected value divided by, where y is the observed value and ei is the expected. So in the given data set, here all the observed values are there, excluding this total, these are all observed. 40, 160, 10, 90. So these are all observed values. For each of the observed value, we have to find the expected. How it is found? Expected value of 40 is its row total 200 multiplied by column total 50 divided by grand total 300. So for each of the observed value, we have to find the. For expected value of 160, its row total is 200, column total is 250 divided. So like this, expected value of 10 is row total is 100, column total is 50 divided by 3. So for expected value of 90 is 100 into 250 divided by 3. So for each of the observed values, we have to find the expected. How exactly we find expected value? That elements row total multiplied by that elements column total divided by grand total. Then find the degree of freedom. Degree of freedom is number of row minus 1, number of column minus 1. Then find the table value of chi-square. For this degree of freedom, R minus 1 into C minus 1 degrees of freedom at 5% level of significance. If calculated chi-square value is greater than table value H0. In case of software, when we are using the software, look at the P value. P value of significance, that is asymptotic significance value is given. If P value is less than 0.05, H0 is rejected and H1 is accepted. So therefore, when calculated value is greater than this one or P value is less than 0.5, H0 is rejected, we draw conclusion that there is a significant association between two. So in this example of diabetes mellitus, place of residence is urban, rural, 40, 160, 10, 90, 200. Okay, its chi-square value comes to 4.8. Table value is 3.84, which is therefore calculated value is greater than H0 is equal. So we say there is a significant association between there is a place of residence and diabetes. So based on this sample data, we draw conclusion that in the target population also there is a significant association between place of residence and diabetes. So this is how chi-square test. So when you make use of software, you have to enter the data related to each of the categorical variable. Using the cross tab, you run it, you'll get that. Let us take another example. Suppose the marketing survey has been conducted. The following table shows preference for a product according to socioeconomic status. Find out whether there is any association between socioeconomic status and preference for the product at 5. Suppose a marketing company brings two products, two categories of products like product A and product B. It's a new type of noodles, A and B. There are two types of this one. They want to know preference this one by the socioeconomic status. Is there any relationship between socioeconomic status and product preference for this product? So if you look at the data, you feel that high socioeconomic status prefers for product A and low socioeconomic status for the product. So we want to see, so this sort of this association, what we are seeing, is it due to real or it is due to chance? So we state the null hypothesis that there is no association between socioeconomic status and preference for product, and the alternative is there is significant association between socioeconomic and preference. Okay, here chi-square value comes to be 36.12, which is greater than its table value 3.4. So therefore H0 is rejected. And we draw conclusion that there is a significant association between socioeconomic status and type of products, preference for product. So the data give evidence that there is a significant association for preference like and socioeconomic. Remember that when we use the chi-square, we will tell only this variable, this categorical variable, and this categorical variable is associated. We cannot point out that in among the high socioeconomic status, product A is more popular, and among low socioeconomic status, product B is more popular. So we cannot establish cause-effect relationship using chi-square. That is a limitation. It will just two variables are associated or not. just like beyond that, you cannot make any other conclusion. So the two variables, very categorical variables, socioeconomic status and this preference, they are significantly associated. Okay, that is the limitation you have to. So when you use the chi-square, make sure that your all these cell values are greater than. If you have many categories, if they are less than 5, you have to merge them in a meaningful. Okay, let us run this test using the software SPS. Okay, this is a marketing survey data where information is collected about age group, sex, religion, education, and product. So there are two products are there. They are categorized as 0 and 1. 0 refers to product A and 1 refers to product B. Okay, the survey is conducted on 100% and we are seeing product A and product B, each person's demographic characteristics and product. So in order to run the chi-square test, what you have to do? You have to go to analyze, click on the descriptive statistics, go to cross tab, click on the cross tab. Okay, so these are the list of variables. Suppose first we want to find out, is there any association between sex and the product, gender and the product. So one of the variable sex we are taking in the row and the product it is taken this. So sex we categorize it as 1 and 2, this male and females. There are two categories. Two levels are there for sex, and similarly for product there are two levels are there, product A and product B. Okay. Then go to cell in order to find the percent. If you did not do this one, you will not get percentage. Let us see. Let us see in among male what is the which one is popular and among the which one. So we check this was row, means when we find the percentage we are getting it for the row. Continue, then go to statistics, check this box. Initially it is not there, check this box chi-square. Okay, continue, click OK. So you will see the outcome on the output chart. So we'll come to the output window. So this is the output window. So I will run it once again. Go to analyze, descriptive statistics, cross tab. In the row, you take the sex. In the column, you take the product. Click on the go to statistics. Click on this chi-square. Continue. Click OK. So first it gives the processing summary, means about the number of observations available, number of missings available. So it will carry out only for where the complete information. Some of the when any of the variable is missing, it excluded from. So this is the table. Males and female. Out of 43 males, 32 males prefer product A and 11 means 74% of the males prefer product A, whereas similarly for female 77% are 77.2% females prefer product. So second part is chi-square test. So here chi-square value means here chi-square value is there. DF means degrees of freedom is there. This is the P value. Asymptotic significance is P value. So here P is 0.7. So P is greater than 0.05. So what conclusion we should draw? Our p-value is greater than 0.5. Asymptotic significance. That is the p-value. Two-sided is that is the p-value. P-value is 0.748, which is greater than 0.05. So before that, you should state your this one. Null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Null hypothesis is there is no association between sex and product. Alternative hypothesis is there is a significant association between sex and product. So what we should do? Should we reject the H0 or not? Since p-value is greater than 0.05, so H0 is not rejected. H0 should not be rejected. So therefore, what is our conclusion? There is no association between sex and product. So the data demonstrate that there is no association between this. Or in other words, we can say that we did not find evidence that there is association between sex and product. So before the start of this one, we studied that product A may be popular among male and product may be popular among female. So we did not find any evidence that there is any significant association. So that is the conclusion out of this analysis. So instead of let us take now, instead of sex, let us take now another variable. Age group. Age group has any association between them, we test. So at this stage, what is our hypothesis? Null hypothesis. There is no association between age group and product. Alternative hypothesis, there is a significant association between age group and product. See, without stating your any hypothesis, you cannot run it and you cannot be able to interpret. So when you go for testing of hypothesis such as student t-test, chi-square, ANOVA, correlation, regression, you needs to have hypothesis. Unless and until you have hypothesis, you will not be able to meaning. Okay, now this already we checked this one. Statistics chi-square is checked this one. When you check this one, then only you will be getting the chi-square value. Click OK. So when we run this type analysis, age group, association between age group and product, preference for the product. So this is this out of 51 in the age group 20 to 39, 98% people in the group 20 to 39, they prefer product A, only 2% product. So like this each in the each age group, what percentage are preferring product A and product B. Now this is about the number and percentage for these two categories. Then coming to the chi-square. Here Pearson chi-square is 28.58, degrees of freedom is 3, and assumed p-value. P-value is 0.00, means which is less than 0.00. So here H0 is rejected. What is null hypothesis? There is no association between age group and product. Alternative hypothesis, there is age group association between age group and product. So P is less than 0.05, H0 is rejected. Therefore, we conclude that age group and product are significantly associated. Okay, that is what based on this. Since we asked the software, you will run. Do you think, look at this table, examine critically, find out whether the conditions or assumption of chi-square are verified. The assumptions of chi-square are met because each of the cell value should be greater than 5. So here cell value is 1. Here cell value is 2. Here cell value is 1. So the assumption of chi-square is not met. So we'll get a condition here. Like it will show here. Yeah, 3 cells have expected frequency less than 5. Means 3 cells have violated this condition. So therefore, you as of this one, you cannot run as it is. So you have to combine it. You have to take one category as 20 to 59 and another category as 60 to 80. Then you run. As of it is violating the condition of chi-square. So therefore, you cannot. If you run it and present it like that, your findings will come under scanner. How you can say statistically significant when it is a violated condition of minimum cell value should be greater than 5. So here we see that cell value is less than 5. Here this is less than 5. Here it is less than. So in this situation, you have to merge the rows or column in a meaningful. When you merge it, it should be meaningful. So we have to make 20 to 61 category and 60 to 80 plus another. So less than 60 and more than 60. Then you can analyze. Then let us see with the religion. Like what we want to find out, is there any relationship between this? So there are two religions are there, religion 1 and religion 2. So for this also, its chi-square value is 0.001, degrees of freedom 1, its p value is 0.9. So here the data demonstrate that there is no association between religion and product. The next variable will change. Means we are finding the any demographic factors are associated with the product. Education. So in rows, usually independent variable is taken in rows and dependent variable is taken in column. When you generate a 2 by 2 contingency table, keep it in mind. Which variable has to in row, which variable has to be column. So here also we can see that illiterate primary and its chi-square value is 4.2, its p value is 5. So there is no significant association between product. Okay, so this is the outcome of the analysis we have carried out for this chi-square. So state your null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, run this chi-square cross tab with percentage and statistics with the Pearson chi-square, you will get the p. So asymptotic significance, what we are getting is the p value. P value means the result that could be attributed to chance. So the data demonstrate that there is no association between education level of the customer and the preference for their product. Okay, now we'll come to the next non-parametric method. Mann-Whitney U test. So the Mann-Whitney U test is used for comparing median of two independent samples. Means it is parallel to student t test for independent sample. Means what we used to use student t-test for independent sample, for the same data situation we can use this. So here null hypothesis we state is that median of both groups are similar and the median of both groups are different. If p value is less than 0.05, h naught is rejected, and we say there is a significant difference in median between the median of two groups are different. Let us take an example of job satisfaction, which we already seen using the peer t-test. Sorry, the student t-test for independence. We have conducted a survey and noted the job satisfaction score of two sections of this: sales and administration. Job satisfaction score of employees in a various section of a company are provided in this data file. Does data shows any significant difference in median job satisfaction score between sales and administration at 5% level of significance? So what is our research question here? Does data shows any significant difference in median job satisfaction? So in order to analyze your data, you needs to have specific research question that will help to run the analysis. It should not be like a matchmaker, like data at hand in your hand, run any test, try to show there is a significant association. It is not like that. You need to have a very clear-cut research question. Accordingly, you set your null hypothesis and alternative. So here null hypothesis, we state that there is no significant difference in median job satisfaction score between sales and administration. Alternative hypothesis, there is a significant difference in median job satisfaction score between sales and administration. So based on this data, we want to answer whether median of score differs between these two groups or not. Okay, here your dependent variable is job satisfaction score, and independent variable is these sections like categories, sales and administration. So you can compare any two tests, two groups using this Mann-Whitney U test. So in the Mann-Whitney U test, it gives the, when you run the software, you get the Z values, you get the P values. If it is a one-tail test, if its asymptotic significance is the P value, when this P value is less than 0.05, there is a significant. So this is another example it is given. Suppose we measure the systolic blood pressure for two groups who are receiving drug A and drug B. These are the two independent. We state the null hypothesis, median systolic blood pressure of two groups is similar, and alternative hypothesis there is different. Mann-Whitney U value is 4.5. Actually, manually when you calculate it, what you have to do? You have to mix these two groups, arrange it them in increasing order, give them the rank, find out the total rank of the observations belonging to drug A and observations rank of the total of the rank observations belonging to drug B. Second, add them. So that difference will give the Mann-Whitney. Since you are using the software, you don't have to bother about all this. So your task is made very easy. So in this example, the p value is greater than 0.05. Therefore, H naught is not rejected. Since p value is greater than 0.05, we say there is no significant difference in median systolic blood pressure between. So you have to arrange the data according to the software requirement, state the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, you have to state it yourself. Run the test, you will get the output. This is the test statistics is the main thing. And then look at this asymptotic significance, two-tailed or one-tailed as of this. Okay, now let us run this job satisfaction score using the SPSS data. This is not the file we require. Okay, I hope it is visible to you. I will again share this file. Okay, now it is visible. So we have to arrange the data according to group. There should be a grouping variable column. Means each of the subject belongs to which. There are 12 subjects who belongs to sales, and there are 12 subjects who belongs to administration. And we have measured their totals. Okay. So let us now test first hypothesis. Does median score differs among sales and administration group according to their median job satisfaction? So in order to run this one, what to do? Click on analyze, go to non-parametric, legacy dialogues, click on this one, two independent samples. So data we are having in two groups. One group is of sales and other is administration. And the outcome variable or dependent variable is job satisfaction. First, we will select the test variable, that is job satisfaction. Then grouping variable is group. Which are the two groups? Administration and sales, 1 and 2. Continue. Click on the options. We may get that descriptive and quartiles. Continue. We want to run the Mann-Whitney test. Click. Okay. So you will get the output on the output window. Okay, I will come to output window. Okay, how we run? Go to analyze. There are many options are available under this non-parametric test. Under this one, legacy dialog. So click the two independent samples. So test variable is your continuous variable. It should be continuous. Scale variable. Either it can be, it has to be continuous way. Either interval or ratio scale. It has to be measured on either ratio scale or interval scale. Grouping variable is categorical. You have to define which are this one. Click OK. So this is the outcome we are getting. First, we are getting the descriptive statistic. That is mean, standard deviation, minimum value. Especially when we are running this non-parametric test, our focus is on median. That is the 50th percentile. 50th percentile is the median. So median of all together means both the group it is 67 and group is this one. So we don't have the individual group. So actually we require median of each group. And this is the ranks and this is the outcome. So this is the Mann-Whitney U value and this is the Z value and this is the P value. So P value is 0.049, which is less than 0.04. So therefore, what would be our inference here? Since P value is less than 0.05, we are rejecting the H0. So when H0 is rejected, the conclusion we are drawing is that there is a significant difference in median job satisfaction score between the two groups, sales and administration. Let us now try to find, is there any difference between male and female employees? So go to the non-parametric test, legacy dialogues, to independent this one, remove this, get the gender. Gender, we assigned them the values 1 and 2 for male and female, 1 for male and 2 for female. Okay, before that, let us find the median for this one, each of the group. So go to the frequencies. Go to analyze, descriptive, this one, explore, job satisfaction, factor list by gender line. This for each of the gender, what is the group statistics? Sir, mainly we are interested in median. Click on. So median of male employees is 72. Median score of male employees is 72. Median score of female employees is 64.5. So we want to see whether this difference is statistically significant. So when we test whether median job satisfaction score of male is statistically significant from female, it shows that its p-value is 0.125, which is greater than 0.05. Therefore, H0 cannot be rejected. So we draw conclusion that there is no significant difference in median job satisfaction score between male and female employees. The data did not show that there is a significant difference between male and female employees. So this is the conclusion we can draw. So this is man-meeting U test, which is parallel to student t-test for independent sample. Okay, next we'll come to Wilcoxon-Saint rank test. So this Wilcoxon-Saint rank test is used when two samples are paired or related. Means it is a parallel to student t-test for dependent or paired samples. Means where two measurements are made on same persons at two different point of time. Suppose we have measured the systolic blood pressure of a patient before administering the drug, after administering the drug. So we are interested to test the hypothesis that is there any statistically significant difference in median in change in this set of measurements. Is there no median change? Null hypothesis is there is no median change in systolic BP, and alternative hypothesis there is significant median change. So Wilcoxon-Saint rank test. So manually, when we to calculate the difference between period of observations, rank the difference for the smallest to this one, add the rank of positive one, that is W, sum of rank of positives, then get the Z value. So if Z value is greater than 1.96, H0 is reached. So that is what manually done. So when we use the software, it gives the Z value and P values, and directly you can draw the conclusion. Let us take this is an example of it in clinical setting. So this heart rate is measurement before administering a drug and after administering a drug. Especially in it is an example of anesthesia study. So before administering the anesthetic drug, what was the heart rate, and after this. So null hypothesis is there is no median change in heart rate. Alternative hypothesis, there is significant median change is there. Z value is minus 1.3, P value is 0.03. Therefore, which is P value is less than 0.05, H0 is rejected. So we draw conclusion that there is a significant median change in heart rate. That is the conclusion. So When you want to run any of this one, state the null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, arrange the data, run this one, check for the p-value. Asymptotic significance, give the p-value. If p-value is less than 0.05, H naught is reached. Okay, let us take this example of pre-test post. Suppose we conducted a workshop and we asked each of the participants to answer the questions. We have developed a questionnaire to test their knowledge, means what are the topics being discussed in the workshop. There are some questions, and if the correct answer, we give 1 mark, for wrong answer 0. So there are 20 questions are there, we ask them to their total. So for each participant, we note down their pre-test score, and after the completion of the workshop, we note down their post-test. So here we have 24 participants. For each of the participant, we ask them to undergo the test, and we note down their pre-test score and post-test. So in order to analyze it, click on the analyze, go to non-parametric legacy dialogues. So it is a situation of two related samples. Pre-test and post-test are related, two related samples. So click on this, make a pair of pre-test and post-test. Okay, Wilcoxon's and rank test, we want this one. Options you can make the descriptive. Total, continue, click OK, we'll get the output in the window. So come to output window. So 50th percentile is median. Pre-test score median is 13.5. Post-test score is median is 15.5. Okay. So pre-test score is increased from 13.5 to 15.5. And look at the test statistics. Its Z value is minus 3.1, P value is 0.00. It is less than 0.04. And what is our null hypothesis? Null hypothesis is there is no median change in pre-test score and post-test. Alternative hypothesis is there is significant median change in pre-test score and post-test. So this null hypothesis is rejected. Alternative hypothesis is accepted. So we draw conclusion that there is a significant median change score in post-test compared to pre-test. The median change in score is statistically significant between pre-test and post-test. So this increase, what we are observing, median score from 13.5 at pre-test to post-test 15.5. So this test is statistically significant. This difference, this median is statistically significant. Okay. So this is the Wilcoxon signed rank test. This is a parallel to student t-test for period sample. Okay, this example we already see the injuries before and after. We have carried out a pair test. We have seen in the student t test this one. Here instead of mean, we have to say the alternative hypothesis as median line. Suppose we collected the data for 12 persons, number of injuries before intervention training and number of injuries after training. The research question is, does data show any median change in number of injuries following the training paper? This is the research. So null hypothesis we state there is no significant median change in number of injuries. Alternative hypothesis, there is a significant median change in number of injuries before and after. So as we observed in the student t-test, here also it shows a statistically significant difference between number. It is same way like that. What is the previous example we said pre-test and post. Then Kruskal values test. So this Kruskal values test is same as one-way ANOVA. And what is the null hypothesis? Null hypothesis is the median of all groups are similar. Alternative hypothesis is the median of all groups are different. If p value is less than 0.05, H naught is rejected. So let us take the example of job satisfaction score. Here we are having the three groups. We have measured the job satisfaction score for three groups: sales, technical, and administration. So you are asked to, is there any significant difference in median job satisfaction score among three? So null hypothesis, we state that there is no significant difference in median job satisfaction score among three groups. Alternative hypothesis, there is a significant difference in median job satisfaction score among three. So median score is significantly different compared to median score is not. So let us run it in the non-parametric mode. Okay, in order to run it, go to analyze, non-parametric test, legacy dialog. Here we have to choose k independent samples. Means there are actually three independent samples or three groups. K means anything greater than 2. So click on this. Test variable here is job satisfaction score. Group is or group, three groups. Defining the range. So 1, 2, 3. There are three groups are there. Minimum value of grouping is 1, maximum value is 3. So you have to click it. Continue. Options you can click. Click OK. So we will come to output window. So this is the, I will run once again. Go to analyze, select non-parametric, legacy dialog, select k independent sample. So outcome variable or test variable is job satisfaction score and grouping variable is 1, 2, 3. Click OK. So job satisfaction score is given. Total overall for all the group, both all the groups. It is not for each group is not given. And chi-square value is 11.04, degrees of freedom 2. It is assumed to this is the p value 0.004, which is less than 0.05. So therefore H0 is rejected. And we draw conclusion that there is a significant difference in median job satisfaction score among these three groups: sales, administration, and technical. H0 is rejected because its p value is less than 0.0. So in this Kruskal values test, what we are doing, we are comparing the median of each of the group. There should be more than two groups. Okay. Okay, last this one is Friedman test. So Friedman test is used for more than two interrelated variables. Suppose if you want to compare three measurements which are made on this one. Suppose you want to compare heart rate before administering the drug, heart rate after 1 hour, heart rate after 2 hours. So three measurements you want to compare simultaneously. It means actually it is an extension of NO of pair test. So three sets of measurements are based on same person. So here also we make null hypothesis that there is no median change in heart rate during the given period. Heart rate at before administration after 1 hour. And okay, let us check this example. Okay, here many various parameters are there. Let us compare the heart rate at baseline, heart rate at 4 hour, and heart rate at 12 hour. So we are testing here whether median change at baseline 4 hour and 12 hours of this heart rate is significantly different. It is actually extension of parity test of N. It is a form of ANOVA, which is extension of parity. So in order to run this, go to non-parametric legacy dialog, choose care related samples. So you select the which are the related sample. So related sample is heart rate is 4 hours, heart rate at baseline, heart rate at 4 hour, and heart rate at 12. Means we are testing whether median change in heart rate at baseline 4 hour and 12 hour is statistically significant or not. Statistics you can descriptive in this one. Click OK. We are testing it using the Friedman test. Click OK. So this median heart rate at baseline is 83.5. At 4 hours it is 100, and after 12 hours it is 85. So you can see that from baseline 83 to it increased to 100 at 4 hours, and at the 12 hours it has again come to the base, reduce up to 85. Okay. So here chi-square test is 50.2. Its p-value is 0.000, which is less than 0.05. So what conclusion is that there is a significant difference in median heart rate at baseline 4 hour and 12. So this difference is statistically significant. Actually, it is a means you have to calculate it in a ANOVA test, and this one little complicated, but you Friedman test can be used for an extension of parity. In parity test, what we are doing, we are comparing only two set of measurement, before and after. Suppose you made a measurement at before, after 1 month, after 2 months, 3 months, like that. If there are many measurements are there, mainly all this comes in a context of prospective study or longitudinal study. This Friedman test is mostly used in the context of longitudinal studies. We make many measurement on the same person at baseline, at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. Okay. So these are all the non-parametric tests we have seen. So with this, I conclude today's section. Thank you very much.